jalapeno kicked, and I think he's toast, man. Thank you, God. Oh, man. That's a big bug, dude. Whoop. Going to our backup plan. I think a camera there 4 days ago. Haven't had one buck on it, so we're gonna go back in there and move that stand to another spot on the same property and hopefully talk to the landowner and get permission. Where I seen a bachelor group of bucks 2 days ago out in the field, so we're gonna see if she's home, then go move the stand, and we'll come back here and probably get ready to go out. Let's get it. Fully tell this story, I think you really have to go all the way back to the beginning, back to July and August. That is when I got a video sent to me from one of my good friends of this buck bachelored up with about 4 other bucks, and he was in full velvet. He was located where the video that my good friend had sent me, I had a pretty good idea as to where I thought the buck would transition from his summer habitat going into the fall. So that's pretty much when the door knocking started. I actually landed 2 different, well, really 3 different permission pieces that I got to where I thought that buck was gonna go come fall. And the day that I had got permission to hunt these pieces, I just started walking, trying to figure out the lay of the land, where I thought the bucks would go, what it looked like, because you can only see so much from an aerial map. So the day that I got permission, I got in there and got some boots on the ground and put in a lot of miles on these 3 different tracks, just trying to figure out where I thought that he was gonna go. And I was looking for things like historical sign, trails, where are the deer now, where do I think they'll be in the fall, where's the best cover come fall. And I went ahead and hung some cameras just to see if he was even using this area at this particular time. But as many of you know, during the summer these bucks don't travel very far. They usually have one little core area that they hang out with a group of bucks, and it seems as if he stayed in that particular area. So before too long, he started to gain, a lot of attention, and there were multiple people that knew of this buck being in that area, which kind of scared me, because when you have that many eyeballs on one particular deer and people are letting other deer go trying to kill him, the chance that he actually makes it even past opening weekend I thought was very slim. I didn't know exactly where he was at this particular time in September. I knew he probably wasn't far, but he just wasn't on the pieces that I had permission on yet. So when into October, I actually had the opportunity to shoot my other target buck in North Carolina from the ground with my bow. I was still going in there and scouting and just seeing if, trying to figure out the lay of the land and trying to figure out if when he gets here, how am I going to kill him. And really the only sign that I found in there of bucks was 1 scrape and 3 rubs on a main ridge top. Just a car hood scrape, your traditional community scrape. So I hung a tapped cam on it probably at the beginning of October. Probably around the 15th, I finally got my first picture of this buck that I've been after since August. Upon getting that first picture of the buck in mid-October, I was extremely excited just to know that, hey, it's mid-October. I've already got a picture of him now. Come November, late November, he's gonna come through there at some point, but it was gonna be extremely challenging to even get, in front of him when he did come through there. Rolling into November, we had a trip planned to Kentucky that we take every year to go down there and hunt some public land. Alright, go ahead. Y'all talk loud. I ain't got my mic on.
No, we got in here and Colton didn't find a drop of blood.
Yep.
By the grace of God that he found this thing, honestly.
In this thicket over here. Yep.
Pretty bad. Said he just leaned up on a stump, hopped up on a stump, and seen a body. Here he was.
He was just like that when I found him. It's crazy.
I really don't think he was.
Oh. Opted to go instead of staying here to hunt this buck. And looking back, I wish I would have stayed here to hunt this buck, but we ended up going to Kentucky again, filling that tag, within a week. And it just so happened that when we were down there, one of the biggest cold fronts that we've had all year long hit back home here in North Carolina that same week, and lo and behold, there he was at 12 o'clock, November 11th, hitting that scrape. The only issue is that there was another buck that had come into this particular property I had permission to hunt that was about the same size as the one that I'd been chasing all year long. And I was trying to decide if I was going to shoot him or hold out for the one that I'd been chasing, and I, upon talking to friends and family, had pretty much elected that if either one of these bucks come out, that I was going to take a shot at. We just got set up about 10 minutes ago. It's our first time back home hunting since that out-of-state trip me and Jeff did. I've been waiting on the right conditions to hunt this, and I'm gonna be going all next weekend. So next weekend is Thanksgiving, which is usually a pretty good time to hunt, but I won't be here, unfortunately. So today's the 23rd, and we're hunting 3 scrapes on a ridge top. Or 2, really, probably 3 ridges come together. Buck was here yesterday evening. I didn't get to hunt because we were doing some work, but he was in here yesterday evening at 4:30. It's 3:30 right now. Fingers crossed he shows up. There was 5 does in here before I got in, so it just went real slow and got everything set up. The wind's a little iffy. I don't know 100% where they're gonna come from, but if they come from where I think that they'll come from, basically wind's blowing this way, they'll be coming from this way. So I'm kind of like trying to get far enough off this ridge that when they walk it coming up there to check these scrapes, that they're out of my scent cone. But So I took a shot before he got behind the deadfall, and it's hard to see in the video, but I hit a limb that was sticking up right in front of my gun, and I just got excited in the moment, didn't see it. I shot, I think it skipped off that limb and made my bullet hit a lot further back than what I would like to have seen. Tracked him for a few hundred yards, and blood didn't look good. Looked to me like a gut shot from the blood. I was hoping maybe liver because it was like a darker blood. Ended up hiring a drone guy that flew in the next morning, and we actually ended up locating the buck within 10 minutes or so. So once we located the buck and I realized that he was still alive, you know, that was pretty devastating to me, as that hadn't happened in probably 10 years since I was a kid. I hadn't lost a deer like that, or made a bad shot on a deer like that in probably 10 years. So it for sure wasn't easy with that happening and me not being able to recover that buck, but the drone guy that I had met up with and it flew out that morning and we had located it, he actually ended up offering to come back that night because we both thought the buck was gut shot and we figured that he would be dead within the next 7 to 8 hours. So he come back that night and we flew out, and the buck had moved maybe 30-40 yards and bedded down again, but he had flopped sides so we could actually see the entry wound, and instead of it being guts, it was more like back hip, as you can probably see in the drone footage. But yeah, that one hurt. That was not easy, having to deal with that, and I hated it for the deer. But we kept running cameras, and that was going to be the buck that I was going to try and kill, for the rest of the year. But didn't get another picture of him for probably another month. And it was good to see that he was still alive, but he just wasn't coming back into that area like he was. And quite frankly, I can't blame him. But the buck ended up being totally healthy, totally fine. From the pictures and the videos I got of him on trail camera, I had 100% confident that the buck was going to make it. So at this point, I transitioned all my focus back to the original heavier 8. Back to what I was saying before that deer interrupted me. Is it's cold, and it's just supposed to get colder and windier. We're bundled up as best as we can. Usually when we get like severe temps like this, yeah, the wind sucks and I wish it was dead calm, but I've had some of the biggest bucks I've ever had on camera on days like these. The only thing I don't like is we're literally on the top of a mountain. But still could be good. I don't know. I would rather be down low, like a bottom where it's less windy. But I feel like this is our only shot at one of these bucks. I'm just hoping and praying that the buck we shot a few weeks ago comes by. I mean, I know he's trying to put on weight for the winter. He's gonna be up and moving, I would hope. Don't think he would be laying low as cold as it is. We're gonna try and sit here all day, but blowing snow right now. The sun's just starting to peek out. hopefully I turned my camera on, like notifications on my cell cam, and I felt my phone vibrate, and I was like, I should probably turn around and make sure there ain't a deer up there. I got so many clothes on to turn my head, I have to turn my whole body. And I turned and he was standing right there at 20 yards. I'm hoping the shot was good. I ain't gonna lie to you. He turned to leave. I put up against the tree and it's just swaying back and forth. So it's literally going from like his rear leg all the way up to his neck, rear leg up to his neck. So I just tried to settle in as best I could. The way he kicked like that, pretty sure got him. It's kind of quartering away pretty hard. So hopefully it tucked in right behind that shoulder and he's just dead off the bank. Please, Lord. I knew that they were going to be moving today. It's 10:10. God, thank you. Yes. Call Houston and tell him. I'm gonna ease down. I'll let you know if I find blood and if I find them, but okay. I'll bring him up to your house later.
Just follow back and let me know.
Okay.
Alright,
see you.
Congrats, I'll see you.
Alright, see you. I'll keep you guys updated. I'm gonna wait about 30-40 minutes maybe and go look for blood. If I find blood, I'll show you, but well, check back in. Went to where I shot him, and me and my brother both, I think, are red colorblind. Can never see reds. Absolutely no blood that I seen. I'm sure there is, but wads of white hair. So immediately panicked and started thinking that I hit his brisket, and it's just knocked a clump of hair off. So I went from the highest of highs straight to the lowest of lows real quick. So I almost contemplated just backing out and going and getting my dad, my buddy, and my brother so they could come help me look. Because like I said, I suck at blood trailing. Long story short, come off the bank right here just to look down this ridge to see if I could see him. There was another little buck bedded right here that I jumped up. He just kind of stood and stared at me, and I finally ran him off. Looked down the ridge 20 yards and he's laying right here. I was very confident that I had shot and just skimmed him and that he was going to be fine. But no, we caught him right here. God is good. We're going to go check him out. I haven't walked up to him yet. I was standing right here. I don't know if you can see that as dark as it is. There he is. Let's go check him out. Still have yet to see any blood. He piled up finally got him back up here to the top. So I'll show him to you a little bit better. It's a super heavy deer. Great mass all the way out. Bladed, brow tongue, you can see. Super happy with him. Yeah, super happy. The only thing is now, we gotta drag him probably a little over a mile from here. He ran off this top about 100-ish yards, so getting him up that's probably the worst part. Everything now is fairly downhill, but you see the exit wound right here was a lot lower than what I would hope for. I haven't looked at the entry, assuming it's a little bit higher, but I would say I clipped bottom heart with how quick he died, but I didn't see a lot of blood, so I don't think that happened either. I'm not sure. I'll look at the entry hole when I take him out, but super stoked. Just an absolute mountain stud. Probably a 5-year-old deer, I would assume, based off his mass. Man, we're gonna have a time getting him out of here, but I'm just glad we found him. Just been sitting here soaking it in a little bit. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I have to get him out of here now. I'll check back in maybe when we get to the bottom and get him loaded up. So I had to get him back to the car, which was 1.4 miles from where I shot him, and it was not a easy 1.4 miles. I had to go up and then back down and back up, but to say the least, you know, I dragged him the whole way with a smile on my face and just thankful, you know, that God had given me the opportunity to chase such a, you know, a beautiful mountain buck. And it's one that I'll cherish and remember probably for the rest of my life. Is this one was truly, you know, they're all special, but this one meant a little more to me. Just the way that it all unfolded, and just from hearing, you know, people talk about the buck and seeing pictures of the buck to, you know, putting in the work to try and get permission to hunt this buck, and where I thought he was gonna go, I ended up getting these permission pieces and then getting pictures of him, you know, and then hunting him and shooting another buck and not finding that buck, to it all coming together mid-December, you know, and we're fixing to close out the season. And it, you know, teaches you so much about these animals when it's a long journey like that versus killing them opening weekend. So I wouldn't have had it any other way. So I appreciate you guys watching, and maybe we'll have a lot more stories like this one to come in the years to come. So thank you guys.